Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here. I have this beautiful chunk of wood, completely hollow, with a big void in it, and it has been knocking around the workshop here for years, and I've decided that I want to try to make something out of it today. I'm hoping I can get 2 or 3 projects out of this. I love this void. I'm going to use my Restore with a 120 combo brush on it, and that'll clean this up real nicely. There's some cracks in it, so this may fall apart, but I'm going to try to make my first cut right here, so take it to the bandsaw. Cutting rounds like this is always risky because the blade wants to take the wood into the ground zero. I've got to really get a good grip on this. Pretty flat here, but again, the saw is going to want to pull it in, so I'd rather have this side down. I'd like to cut a nice straight slab out of here. That's not going to be easy. Well, I did have a bit of a casualty. This void broke off of there, but I have the piece and I can glue that back on. So to get this set up correctly, I made the blade pretty much parallel to that void, and then back here I used a wedge and a couple of clamps. So now I can ride this piece of wood here and make a relatively straight and safe cut. So wish me luck. Just what I was going for. I really want to get a parallel cut here. It's very dangerous to do that. Well, what I've done here is hot glued a couple of wedges from either side. Had to build the hot glue up on one side there. But now I think it's safe to cut. So I've got a couple of 3-inch slabs of that nice hollow log, and on my table here I've put down packing tape. Could, I guess, carefully outline a piece of plywood or a piece of wood and try to cut it out and make a bottom for these, but my bottom is going to be made out of Bondo, and I've got some Bondo here I want to mix up. It takes some hardener on it. If you put too much hardener on there, before you get it mixed up, it will set. And if you don't put enough hardener on there, it may never set. So it's kind of a guessing game. I've got a piece of acrylic here. I'm trying to keep it moving on. I think I'll put a little more hardener in there. It says to make a 3-inch circle and then put a, I don't know, I think it was an inch of hardener. I have a lot of hardener in there right now, I know. And this may not work. You may never see it. But I think it will. Got a couple of sticks here I hope to poke it down with. I want to try to make it across the bottom of here. I'll probably put in a couple of layers, but I don't want to get it up on the sides too much. So I'm hoping I've got enough here to kind of smear it around the bottom. So I'm really happy with that. I have about, I don't know, a little less than 1/4 inch of starter here. That'll be good for the first layer. That first layer is hardened. It just takes about 5 to 10 minutes. I've got this second layer ready to go. Got it on the top there. Once it's hard, if it's not pressed into anything, it should pop off pretty easily. Okay, now to get this second layer smoothed out, I'm going to put a piece of plastic wrap over the top. And I'm going to use this little round dowel to squish it all around. I like that. So this is what it looks like now. I've got probably 1/2 inch of Bondo in the bottom there. I'm going to leave the plastic on there. I think if I pull it up, it will just make a mess. So I'm going to leave the plastic on there until the Bondo hardens up, and I'm going to repeat the process right here. Well, it has literally been 10 minutes, and they're still very warm. I can see a couple of cracks through there, so this would leak if I were to pour something into it. This one is pretty solid. They're a little bit deeper than I want to be. I think I'll leave this one the same, but I do think I'll cut this one down a bit. But it worked. I think I'm going to make this one a succulent pot plant and this one a candle. Well, I was out earlier today. I went by the dollar store, got these candles. Wax at Hobby Lobby is expensive, so I think this will work. I needed 3 wicks, so I got 3 candles. And this is pretty easy to pull the wick out from the bottom. Bondo has cooled off nicely. This one has a few cracks in it as well. Hey, Candy. What? You have food. It's nasty outside. Want to see what I'm doing? So I know that if I start pouring hot wax in here, it's going to come right out. So I'm going to seal this up with some glue. I think what happened is the Bondo shrank a little bit. So I'm just going to seal it all the way around. In case this wood decides to move. This wood is really old. I mean, I've had this wood before I had a big bandsaw. Now I'm going to do the same with this one. It's going to be my succulent pot. See, there's nothing up here, Candy, that you're interested in. We are on the southern edge of that big storm that's coming through on Super Bowl Sunday for the Northeast. Yes, dear. Let me get this and then I'll pet you. And it is getting nasty out. So here, I want to hot glue these on here. And if you or your loved one intends to burn this candle, just be aware that it's made of wood. If you were a young adult in the 70s, you undoubtedly owned a sand candle. That was the hippest thing in the world when I was in college. I traveled a lot with the track team to different campuses. Oh, it's okay. And on every campus, there was a sand candle guy. And in fact, I made sand candles for my groomsmen for wedding gifts in 1974. All right, is that enough? I've got these old jars that I'm going to melt these in, and they didn't fit, so I just cut them into quarters on my bandsaw. And I don't know exactly how much it's going to take, but I'm going to go upstairs and put these in some boiling water. Meet you in the kitchen. Hot glue gun's off. Well, obviously I know nothing about candle making, so you may want to not follow my lead. Well, here they are. I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. I got all the candle mess cleaned up and brought my succulent pot back up here. The Bondo definitely pulled away from the wood. It's still in there really solid, and I think a bead of silicone caulk around the inside would help it a lot. It didn't pull away as much on this one, but it made a very good bottom. Another idea for your Valentine's gift. Thanks for watching.